Hi everybody. So I've had a fair bit of positive feedback on chord tutorials from the group, so I thought I'd just do a series of general chord tutorials not related to any song. So the first thing that you need to be able to do when you're changing chords effectively is to be able to do it, of course, fast enough, which we're all working on, and also to do it on the right beat. So if you're going to practice chord changes, a good exercise to get into, apart from any song that you might want to play, is to do it with some kind of instrument that's going to help you to keep the beat. So there's a couple of them, there's lots of them, but this is like an old-fashioned metronome, which all the people who took piano lessons in their youth in a certain age group will remember. And it just locks in there at the top, and then when you let it out, it keeps a beat for you. It's really simple, no batteries required. There's a little thing on the side that you wind to wind it up. When it stops ticking, you just wind it up again like an old-fashioned clock. In the background, you're going to be hearing my cat yowling at me, and I apologize for that, but I can't make her stop, so I'm just going to keep going. So again, with this metronome, if you want to go a little slower, you move that little thing on the wand up, and if you want to go faster, if you're feeling very accomplished that day, you want to have it on a pretty flat surface, because if you have it crooked too far, it's not going to work, or it's not going to give you an even beat. So you want it on a pretty flat surface. So there's that one. Price range, I'm going to say anywhere between $50 and $150, depending on if you want a cheap plastic casing like I have, or if you want like a beautiful wood one that's a little bit bigger and a little bit more sturdy. The con to this one is that it's not very durable. Like, you can't stuff it in your music bag because the little wand will get warped and then it won't keep time for you very well. Another option is an electronic metronome, which you can buy anywhere from $20 to $40 or $50. There's my cat again. And it makes an electronic beat, so it's not as loud and in your face, I'm going to say, as the other one. But it does make a nice steady beat for you. Also, if you're working with the metronome and you're off and the metronome is not beating along the same time with you, a really common beginner mistake is to figure that there's something wrong with the metronome. There's nothing wrong with the metronome. You just need to work on your own rhythm, okay? And yeah, I think I said $20 to $40 or $50 for these. So that's that. And they run with usually a couple of AA batteries, sometimes with a 9-volt. So you do need batteries for them, but they last a long time. They're not a battery hog. So you need those two things. And then the next thing that I wanted to do was talk about a bit of a chord progression. So I'm going to take my old school metronome and I'm going to give you a chord progression to work on. And I'm going to give it to you in 2 keys. So if I set my metronome kind of up towards the top, it's going to go pretty slowly. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what you can do, our chord progression is C, F, G, C. So if you're really, my metronome is struggling, sorry. I did put my metronome in my music bag a number of years back, and so now it's not completely even, but it'll work for the purposes of this lesson. I'm winding it up now, so you can see a demonstration of winding up your metronome, and you'll just feel a bit of resistance at the end there, and then it should work pretty well. There's my cat again. Okay, so the chord progression is C, F, G, C. Now if you're you're a complete beginner, you may want to do 4 beats on each one, and you may want to take the time in between to go to that second chord and go to that third chord and not strum. So what I mean by that is C, 2, 3, 4, F, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, 4, C, 2, 3, 4. As you get a little better, you may want to do 2 strums. So you can see that requires a little bit faster movement of your fingers to the next chord shape. And then when you get really comfortable with it, maybe you might want to do 4 strums, and then you only have just a second to get to that next chord change. So you might want to work on a strum pattern, like so down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down. I always thought you're going to be on the beat. So listen to my strumming, and you're going to see or hear or feel that it still is on the beat, even though I'm adding a little bit of extra up and down. So. Lots of strum patterns, but we'll just work with this one for this chord change exercise. So starting on C, 1, 2, 3, 4. You may want to throw your timekeeper out the window by the time you're done, but I'm telling you, it's a really good exercise to help to develop your sense of rhythm, which is key if you're going to do effective chord changes. So there's the whole fingers thing, there's the strumming thing, but you also have to be able to feel the rhythm if you're ever going to make any music that is listenable, let's say. So the next thing that I want you to do is we're going to change key. We're going to do the same chord progression, which is like just a series of chords, so C, F, G, C. But we're going to do it in G. So then it becomes G, C, D, G, which is harder. It's the same chord progression in a different key, but it's harder because the chords are harder. So it's G, C, which is easy, to D, to G. For those of you who would like to do D7, the 2-finger D7, go for it. G, C, D, G. So same exercise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 strums. Sorry, that's 4 strums. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 strums. And then if you want to add in a strum pattern. And as much as you can, work with whatever you're going to have as your rhythm keeper. So if it's a metronome that goes tick-tock, or if it's a metronome that goes beep-beep, or if you've got a little keyboard around the house, it's probably got a rhythm aspect to it, so you can put on a fancy drum track and you can play to that. But try always, when you're doing these chord change exercises, to play it with a rhythm as much as you can and still maintain your sanity. So that's lesson number 1, chord change tutorial, and I'm going to try and do a series of these, adding in some theory and some background information about songs that you can play more easily because you've got a chord progression figured out outside of that song. So that's all for today. Stay well, stay happy, and I'll see you soon. Bye.